Hi everyone. Shankar, first of all, many congratulations on the 10-year journey.
Thank you.
It's been a great milestone and look forward to the 10-year campaign. To begin with, just wanted to know how it all started, about your journey, about the first order, about the milestones that you've created in the last 10 years. On to
So firstly, it's very special to be doing this with Delivery because Delivery delivered our first order and continues to do that. I remember we started off in a very small place, and at that time order pickups used to be just 1 or 2 per day. But the diligence with which Delivery used to show up at 5 p.m. every day for the pickup, I still have very fond memories of that. So first of all, very special to be doing this with Delivery. I'm very honored to be part of your journey over the last 10 years, as you said, you've been part of our journey over the last 10 years. It all started with the dream to provide world-class products to Indian consumers, combining the best of science and combining the best of the science that exists in nature to give products that people are delighted to use, yet it solves real problems for them. And that's been the core of our journey over the last 10 years. I guess it will continue to be the core of what we do. We love creating products that deliver and delight, and that's sort of the DNA that keeps us going. E-commerce started off as a beautiful, inflection point in the journey of beauty and personal care industry. We were lucky enough to be part of the early adopters of that trend in India. So we started off online only when online only was not a thing. Nowadays, online only is a thing. Online is a thing. So that's how we've been blessed, I would say, in terms of what the market needs and what we've been able to create and the love that consumers have shown for us.
Yeah, absolutely. We also celebrated 10 years a couple of years back, and we also have very strong memories of how it all started along with partners like you, and we are equally proud to be associated. We have a lot of brands now which are coming up, tons of brands. I mean, from your learnings of supply chain over the last 10 years, any key learnings, any key matrices that you want people to know out there which should be focused upon, something on those lines?
Sure, and this is something which is, it's not just a learning that I would give to others, it's a learning that we have to also imbibe ourselves every day and keep reminding ourselves of. The first thing is that the consumer has a lot more choice than she ever had even a few years back, and this explosion in choice will continue over the next several years as the access to data, access to information, access to products, access to ideas gets democratized. So no one can say that I've got it figured out, I'm going to run this model over the next even 3 years or 5 years and I'm going to have a good time, because chances are you will get surprised in the next quarter. So the first thing is to be continuously aware of people's changing preferences and attitudes, continuously tuned into what's going on in their heads, continuously adapting ourselves and our organizations to tune all of us to what's going on in the consumer's mind and strive for delight at every step of the way. I think if you have this as the core, then the rest of, having more nimbleness in your supply chain, or having more, or delivering faster, or delivering better, delivering with a smile, all of those things become subsets of this overall core idea. And the core idea is that we have an explosion of choice that's going on, and no one can sit back and say, I've got it figured out. Whether it is a supply chain logistics setup, whether it's a brand product setup, all of us have to be on our feet all the time thinking, how do we delight the customer better than what we did yesterday? And that is the core thought that I would leave behind for any brand, including ourselves, who's trying to win the consumer's mind and heart today.
Yeah. Talking more on data, and data has been the backbone of the e-commerce industry per se. We've also done a lot with data. I mean, our product roadmap over the last so many years, it has been purely data based. I mean, from building the network to optimizing it on speed, on returns, on a lot of other parameters, data has been the backbone. How has, talking more on data again, how has data helped you take some informed decisions from your point of view, also from a product development,
Right.
how has data-driven approach helped?
So when we started off, it was completely intuition driven and experience driven. That this works, this is how the consumer is known to think, and maybe that research was 2 years old, 3 years old, maybe it is hearsay, maybe it is retailer telling you. So a lot of product decision making was intuition driven and experience driven. This is how it used to happen, hence this is how we should do it, kind of thought process. Slowly, as things started building out in the online space, we realized that we have access to a lot of qualitative and quantitative data directly from the consumer. It's quite empowering to be D2C, truly D2C, because there's no filter between you and the consumer. Good, bad, ugly, everything shoots right in. And we have to be open to collecting all that data, whether it is qualitative, whether it is quantitative. We got to see which customer buying product A is also interested in product B, which customer buying product A repeats after what period of time, where all are they repeating. Repeats that happen outside our platform are very impossible to track. So we got to have qualitative methods to understand where people are repeating their purchases, why are they lapsing if they are lapsing. So across the entire life cycle, from ideation to purchase to repeat to lapsing to winning back, we have to use data at every stage of the process. And today it is almost impossible to think of our process without the data that goes into taking those decisions. The one caution or caveat that I would add here is that this obsession with data should not take away from the art that exists in creating products that people love, which is where the combination of the craft of creating something along with the science of the data that we are able to get in, that combination is what at least we like to practice and what our Plumsters love to see from the brand.
Truly, absolutely bang on. You touched upon the retail element as well. So now that you've almost conquered the e-commerce part of
very much WAP.
e-commerce part. So how is the omni-channel strategy developing up? We do see a lot of offline presence as well of Plum coming up, and that too at a very strong pace. What are your thoughts on the omni-channel presence?
See, online has become the predominant model for discovery of brands. I think the whole upper funnel of awareness, consideration, discovery, comparison, evaluation happens. A lot of it happens online because it is frictionless today to do that. You and I can, the first thing we do is Google something, the first thing we do is watch review videos, the first thing we do is search for that hashtag or whatever. So it's very frictionless and it's got a ton of information. Now you have AI which can synthesize that, so you don't have to do the hard work of searching in 10 different places. So all of this is making discovery, consideration and up to the middle funnel quite frictionless and seamless for people. There are certain categories which then lend themselves very quickly to online purchase, and there are certain categories which are still quite, I would say, friendly towards offline retail. For example, if you take fragrances, people still want to experiment and experience the fragrance before they pick the right one, even though they have seen great reviews and whatnot. Take, for example, emerging categories like sunscreens or serums or even a moisturizer, which has been around for a while, but people's needs and people's preferences for the choice that they get on these products is very high. So it's not every moisturizer is a moisturizer for people now. So they are looking for very specific texture, very specific benefits, very specific use experiences, that including the packaging, which they are better off seeing offline, and which is where the role of offline still is very strong in the country. And there is of course a cohort of people who just like to try and see and buy it, get the physical feel of buying it. All of us do once in a while. So I don't think there is one cohort which is only online and one cohort which is only offline. There's a huge middle which is both, and it is really bases their purchase occasion and how often they shop, etc. So the long story short is that you need to be offline in order to be servicing both the sort of middle funnel as well as lower funnel needs of consumers.
One last question.
Sure.
From a logistics standpoint, we do see some bit of competition popping up.
Right.
There are partners in each and every leg of logistics, delivery being the integrated logistics player. What is your message to the other brands in the market and how to choose the right logistics partner in their journey?
I'll go back to where I started off this conversation with. which is when delivery picked up the one order, and I still remember the guy who used to come and pick that order up and take it from us. And for us, it was that one beginning that was necessary. But the attention that delivery used to pay to the end consumer as well as to the immediate customer, which is us. And I'm not saying this lightly, but it is something that, has to be experienced to be believed, that it is a tough industry. Logistics is a tough industry. You have all kinds of things happening, whether unforeseen circumstances, people not being available, cash not being there. Back then, COD used to be 60-70% of the market. People don't have change and all that. No UPI. But still, delivery used to soldier on, make sure that the end consumer gets what she wants. And if there is ever a mess the next day, there is always a sort of, clawback that happens, or a climbing back to the normalcy that happens. And I found that even now when the orders are in the hundreds of thousands, delivery is still able to keep the end consumer's need state in mind. In terms of the delivery experience, the speed, the cost to the immediate consumer, convenience and so on, which is the one that, which I think is the ethos that defines a lot of your actions. And so, to me, it's not, logistics is not just about putting up the hardware to just deliver. It's also about the heart that beats for the customer. It is also about the softer aspects that make the experience better for the end consumer and for the immediate customer. And it's also about ownership of the problem. It's not as if your problem is over when I hand, or my problem is over when I hand things over to you, or your problem is over when delivery is done. So, thinking about it end to end and making sure the end consumer, who's ultimately the king.
Absolutely. Thanks for those wonderful words. It was a pleasure talking to you. Mine to many more decades to come for this strong partnership.
Godspeed.
Thank you, Shankar.